Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's roundup of the second round of the Currie Cup. Unfortunately, a lot of moving this weekend. I was away and I wasn't able to put out the videos I usually do, so very apologies for that. We'll be making up for this weekend with 2 live watch-alongs. We're going to be doing the Sharks versus Bulls game as well as the Lions versus Cheetahs games. 2 grudge matches and 2 very important games in the wider context of the competition. But looking back at the weekend, the Pumas beat the Griquas, which I didn't call. I called the Griquas to win, and I just think that the Griquas almost just don't know how to win. They play some good rugby. Once again, they had very good moments on Friday. They had very good moments against the Lions, but they're just a side who just doesn't look like they know what to do to get those points, to get over the line. And I think, it's one of those things that the more you lose, the more it becomes a habit. They will talk about how winning is a habit, but so is losing. And I think that Griquas are just a side that just doesn't know how to win. The Pumas, on the other hand, got their second win of the competition. And then the Bulls put in an emphatic second half performance to decimate the Cheetahs on Saturday. Another huge victory. And what I think, and Jake White alluded to it, is the fact that he says that his side has taken so much confidence in that they've learned to win with 40 men. And they've learned to, in a game which is quite tight, be able to go and put in that second half effort to get over the line. I thought the Bulls, they just completely outclassed the Cheetahs in that second half. And Marco van Staden, for me, must be on the block radar because he's probably the best player in the country right now. He's playing such good rugby. He's just doing very, very little wrong in a Bulls side, which is putting a lot of sides to the sword. And then the Lions pulling up a very big victory against the Western Province. And I tell you, I said last weekend, John Dobson's under a lot of pressure. And that victory, that loss would not have helped because the province would have looked at the Lions, who were struggling against the Griquas the weekend before. They had played less rugby than the other teams. Maybe not very clinical, not quite fully there just yet. And so would have been targeting that as a big victory. But unfortunately, a lot of injuries and a penalty right at the end by Tian Swanepoel, who was probably the man of the rightfully man of the match on debut, kicked a very good penalty to win that for the Lions. But this is why I say it, and the province, and somebody was saying the other day, is the province squad overrated? And to be fair, if you look at the results, you do start to sort of wonder why there's so much hype about it. But I still believe they are very good players at the union, but there's something fundamentally wrong. And I think that is why John Dobson continues to be under quite a lot of pressure, because the results just do not reflect some of the players contracted within that union. And you look at some of the players within the Lions, and if you had to do a like for like, you would have more Western Province players in theory probably than Lions players, and yet the Lions managed to get the victory. It was very important for the Lions as well, who this weekend playing against the Cheetahs on the back of last weekend's victory can move up to second on the log if they play really well and other results go their way. Which, considering that they were probably under the most pressure in terms of being able to justify being included in the Pro 16, weirdly enough, because obviously they've been so good in the last couple of years. But this year they were pretty poor, largely, and had a very tough year and had a bit of a transition year. So it's very important for them to be in and amongst those sort of the top 4. I think it's also, SA Rugby will be sitting there looking this weekend saying, please can the Lions win, because they need the Bulls, Sharks, Province and Lions to finish top 4 so that Cheetahs can have no complaints in terms of them being booted from the Pro 16 and them being treated as the 5th best side in the country. Because if that's how the log ends, then that's how the log ends, and they are. You can't have any arguments. They are the 5th best side in the country. So a lot of subplots starting to creep in, and we have a look at the log, which looks a bit strange because it says played 2, because this is only the played, win, draw, loss are only the Currie Cup games, but the points difference and the points stuff like that, or the points, or most importantly, are include the Super Rugby unlocked as well. So the Bulls on 32 points, 8 points ahead of the Sharks, which means that a win by the Bulls will once again put them miles ahead. They could be sitting there, almost 12 points ahead of the next best side, if depending on results. A win by the Lions and a loss by the Sharks could take the Lions up to 2nd. Sharks will move down to 3rd, but the province are playing against the Pumas, so they've also got a very big opportunity to move up. So, if you think that you're probably favouring Bulls and Province to win, maybe, and a Lions win, they can all move up. Sharks could drop down to 4th even by the end of the weekend. So it's quite a close table. On the other hand, a Cheetahs victory over the Lions, and suddenly it becomes very, very close. So it's a very interesting weekend we've got coming up. The Pumas at 11 points aren't really in any sort of conversations unless they pull off a victory against the Western Province this weekend and start, edging closer to that top 4. But with Province under so much pressure, they're going to have to try and find a way to win it by all means necessary. And they are the better side than the Pumas, so they shouldn't have too many issues there. But stranger things have happened, and then Greek was sitting in 7th place on 5 points, just not being able to find a victory anywhere. So yeah, it was a very interesting weekend last weekend. It should be a very interesting weekend this weekend. 2 live watch-alongs, previews. We're going to be doing Team of the Week tomorrow. 5 things we learned on Wednesday. So we will be having a lot of content up over the next couple of days. So make sure you keep it locked on Forever Rugby, on Forever Sports. Thank you very much for watching. I'll chat to you very, very soon, and enjoy the week to come.